welcome to the Lynne Show. I'm Lynne, that's Lynne with an E. I'm excited for today's show. We have two wonderful guests. The first guest is a neighbor of mine, Jill Wilson, who will tell us about one of her hobbies, glass fusion. Jill and I will also then discuss some travel tips. Our second guest is Alice Woog of Joe's Sauces. She will give us history of the company and let us taste some yummy treats using the sauces. So let's meet our first guest, Jill. Hi, Jill. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn about glass fusion. We've lived in the same neighborhood for how long?
30 years.
And of course, I didn't know you did this, but
Yes.
it's going to be so fun to learn about it.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into it,
Okay.
and then basically what it is, and we'll look at some pieces.
Okay. Well, glass fusion actually came from my interest in stained glass, which I had done 35 years ago before my first child was born, and it struck me as being kind of a dangerous hobby to have with small children around, so I kind of put it on the wayside.
Good choice.
Yeah. 5 years ago, I decided that it was time to maybe start it again, and I went into the glass studio and discovered a new thing that they had called glass fusing, which is simply you still cut pieces of glass, but instead of putting it in a frame and having it be a portrait, you can do functional things with it. So this is actually a platter.
Beautiful.
I cut the pieces, and it is fused onto just clear piece of glass and melted. And then the second step, you melt it in a kiln. The second step is then you slump it in a mold.
So that's a new word, slump.
Slump.
Okay,
Yes.
and then go through that again. What does that mean? Like to me, somebody who doesn't
Well,
know anything about it.
we remelt it. So the first time through, you melt all the glass so that it looks like this, but it's flat. The second time when you put it in a kiln, you actually are going to put it inside of a mold. And then it will melt again, and then you cool it off, and it has a shape like this, for instance.
Back to this, so I understand it. How did, so you chose what shape then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the size.
So beautiful.
The molds are all different. This is my sushi platter, which you can make it, you know, this width, or you can make it thinner or thicker, whatever you want to do. But generally, I will find a piece of glass that I like and kind of design something to fit that particular piece of glass.
So if you look at this one, how many pieces of glass are there? When you say, I find a piece of glass, was that this blue one, black one?
Actually,
what's going on?
It would be this one. I found this, I fell in love with it, and each piece of glass is different. So there's another piece of glass back here.
Yeah, we have some beautiful pieces up there.
That actually is the same piece of glass in the center, but I will possibly want to emphasize more of the grays or whatever. But next to this, you can see that there is this piece, but on either side, this is called a black glass noodle, and on either side of it is gray. So I'm picking up the grays in here, and then the blue on this side. So and everything has to be cut custom to fit on top of the piece of glass that's underneath it that I'm melting these top pieces to. And if you don't have enough cuts in your glass, you can get bubbles. So that's another thing that you have to think about. If you notice, the piece right up here is just one.
The one that kind of matches this one, or the one?
The one next to it.
Okay.
It's all one solid color.
Yeah.
Normally, if you don't make a spot for the air to escape when you're melting that, you get huge bubbles and they blow up, and you have ruined your piece. So the trick to that piece is you have to put little pieces of glass around each part, many parts around the corner of the glass to let air escape, which you can't see that. If you looked really closely, you could see it. But that's, so there's a lot of tricks, a lot of things to learn as you go along. As I was telling you earlier, I messed up one of the dishes back here because I didn't realize that the color would change if I didn't put clear glass over it. So the next time when I use that particular kind of, it's considered a reactive glass.
Okay.
When I use the glass, I put a second layer, or actually it would have been a third layer of clear glass on top of it, and then it stayed the color that I wanted it to be. So it's a very interesting, fun hobby, and
Wow.
yeah, I like the fact that I can do practical things. I make coasters and stuff
Sure.
sometimes for party favors or,
Right.
you know.
Little gift.
Little gifts,
What,
right.
so do you ever get cut by the glass?
Very rarely. Very, very rarely. It's
I would be afraid of that.
Yeah, only a handful of times. My biggest problem right now is I seem to be so focused on what I'm doing that I'm running into the glass. You know, I may have a piece of glass
Right.
sitting out in the middle of the room, and I'll catch a corner of it. But you know, if I've had any cuts, they've been very minor.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of
And you're wearing some like safety gear.
no.
You wear like goggles and such?
No, I'm just wearing my glasses, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and as I'm getting older, I'm discovering that I can't see as well, so sometimes I will take my glasses off to measure things, but then I put them back on when I'm cutting and breaking the glass, because I definitely do not want to get any glass shards in my eye, but you know.
So as far as like, you kind of talk about, well, you got the kiln. So do you have to go to a studio? What do you have to do to get started in this or get knowledge? How does that all work?
Well, I initially had gone to the J-Ring Studios on Territorial. He has recently closed his doors, unfortunately. But the Minnesota Glass Center is still available. They do classes. They have kilns that are available for you to use and to help. So I actually, the first year that I was doing it, I just brought my stuff to Joe, because I was like, you know, I'm just going to focus on, you know, decorating and doing the stuff that I like to do, and the technical side of because the kiln is a very complicated procedure. It's a many-step process of, you know, you stay at this temperature for X amount of time, and then you go to ramp up, and then you cool it down. And I was a little intimidated by that, so I just let him take care of that. And now he's not doing it, so I ended up buying a kiln at my own house, which of course blew the fuse in the location that I have it. So I have to wait. I have to wait till spring rates come back from XL Energy, and then I'll get it connected.
You'll start it up again.
Then I'll start it up again.
And you had a site, if people were interested, that you could tell them where to go for this class.
It's Minnesota Center for Glass Arts, and it's www.minglassart.org. And they're very helpful. They're very helpful. They have community work days where even after you've taken classes, if you don't know what you're doing, they're really helpful about giving some direction and stuff.
Super.
Yeah.
Well, they're beautiful pieces. Thank you for bringing in these. I'm so glad we learned a little bit about this. You and I were going to talk some travel tips, because we happen to both go to Florida at different times, actually different coasts.
Right.
But I thought, you know, let's share some things.
Okay.
And I had an article from a friend who travels long distance, and this was the big thing, and I just wanted to quickly read it, because it says the long inactivity of your body muscles in any position can result in muscle tension. So you'll get a backache, or you'll feel, you know, tired either right away or actually in the future. And you've got a technique for something that you use and have used when you travel. So why don't you tell us about that one?
Well, I was telling you the other day that I generally, wherever I'm sitting, I'm trying to stay away from whoever's sitting next to me. And I would end up with
a cold or something.
And I would end up with sciatic pain after sitting for a long time, because I'm leaning on one side and it's miserable. So I discovered through my water aerobics class that there's an exercise, and it's called a forward stretch. You just cross your leg across so that your ankle is sitting on top of your knee, and just do a stretch, which you can do it sitting in your seat, or if it's really bad, you can lay on the floor and kind of manipulate your leg up and down a little bit. But it is very, very effective for sciatic nerve issues when you're traveling. At least for me.
Right. And what you do to one side, you should always do to the other side.
You should always do to the other side. Correct.
All right. And then you also had some light exercises that the airlines recommend that we actually do in our seats. And so we were going to, do you want to read them?
Yeah.
Or do you want to demo them?
No, you demo them.
I'll be the demo.
You can be the demo
All right,
girl.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm in my seat.
Sit in your seat with your feet flat, hip width apart, and directly under your knees. And you are to lift your heels up so only the balls of your feet are on the floor. And hold this position for 5 seconds, and then lower your heels down, and you repeat this movement for 10 times, making sure that your breathing is natural and at a regular pace.
Natural.
Natural. The next one is kind of the opposite, flip side of that. You lift the balls of your feet up so that only your heels are on the floor.
Okay.
Hold this position for 5 seconds and lower your feet. Repeat that 10 times.
Okay.
People are going to think you're very itchy.
Yep.
And then you're supposed to stretch your legs out under the seat in front of you. Lift one leg so that it is straight and rotate your foot clockwise at the ankle 15 times.
Got it.
And then counterclockwise for 15 times.
Got it.
And then repeat the action with your other leg. Then they like you to raise both hands straight over your head as far as you can go, which people are going to look at you like, excuse me, what's going on?
Actually, I was on a Spirit flight, and they said, we know we put you in those little cramped seat, and we're sorry. Well, we're not really that sorry because you get your money's worth. We get you there. But they said, but we want to do some Spirit yoga with you.
Oh.
So they said, everyone raise your right arm. So we all looked at each other, raised our right arm. Everybody raise your left arm. We did it. And they said, thank you for doing Spirit yoga. We're like, what?
Well, that's what they want you to do, too,
Right.
except they want you to raise both hands straight up over your head as far as you can. And then, and then you do this crossover where you would.
I remember that.
Yeah, reach over and grab one elbow and then do the other one to kind of straighten
That's
it.
a good one.
Then they want you to raise, no, that's the elbow one. Then they want you to do some muscle contraction exercises, so contract your abs. And
tummy,
your glutes, your
everything.
tummy, contract and relax and contract and relax. And then they suggest that you exercise while you're waiting for the bathroom, which I think most people probably
do.
do
I
that.
think they stretch.
Yeah, a little bit
and
of a
the
stretch
one
there.
thing that I read in the article that I wanted to share was that they said scrub your body vigorously when you take a shower, after you've landed and you're at your hotel or your Airbnb, wherever you're staying. And it said 60 seconds of hot water, 60 seconds of cold water, and then it said leave once cold water, but I'm adding 60 seconds of warm water. But that was to dislodge any fluids that were built up and get your circulation going.
Wow.
So take a shower.
Yeah.
But hot, cold, warm. Hot, cold, warm. So that is all we have the time for our travel. I'm glad we got to discuss our glass fusion. And we discussed a little bit of travel. We're going to have Alice Woog with us from Joe's Sauces. Can you stick around and learn a little bit about that?
I'd love to. I would love to.
Okay, super. Well, thanks for coming on our show today. Stick with us. We're going to meet Alice, and then we're going to walk over to the kitchen where Jill will join us. Well, Alice, welcome to the Lynne Show. I'm so glad that you could come.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Yeah, I'm excited. Alice, you are going to give us a little bit of history, and I'm going to take one of your cards here, about Joe's Sauces with so much taste and so many uses. So I'm very excited because when I met you, which actually was at Byerly's, I bought some, but I didn't have time to listen on how to use it. So I'm so interested that you got to come on my show and that we get to learn more about it.
Well, great. I can start by telling you a little bit about the history of the sauce, if you'd like.
I would love that.
Sure. Joe's Sauces, they were created, maybe 4 or 5 years ago by my husband, Joe, who unfortunately passed away about 3.5 years ago.
Sorry.
But in the first part of 2013, we were at the indoor St. Paul Farmers Market. We were selling our product, and it was going well. And then, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and died in August of 2013. A couple of months later, our manufacturer decided that we should try to go out there again. And so I went to a few different little church festivals and things like that. And then I had an opportunity to meet a distributor who loved the product. And so the distributor put me in front of some Lund's and Byerly's deli managers, and I told them the story about Joe.
Yeah.
Told them 100 different ways to use it, and then I started doing demos in Lund's and Byerly's, Kowalski's, and now we're in several Hy-Vees and several co-ops in the metro area. And our son, Nick, is doing this out in Seattle at farmers markets. And then last year in January, we put out the roasted red pepper and walnut sauce. So we have 2 sauces and are now in the process of creating a couple additional products for people.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yes.
That's exciting.
So, and what's fun about these is that not only is it the legacy of Joe, but both of these sauces are unique. There's nothing else like it on the market. So they're condiments for meat, seafood, poultry.
Okay.
You can marinate with them, use them as a dip for veggies. Later on, I'll show you some different ways. Use it with shrimp instead of your red sauce. Make a pizza, a panini, marinade, salad dressing, wraps, stir fry with it, put it with tofu. Use it on the side of sushi. The back of my shirt has 100 different ways to use it, but I'll let you look at the info card instead.
Stand
because
up,
it tells
turn
you
around.
that,
Yeah.
right, because it
Okay.
tells you that.
All right.
And so we're hoping that more and more people will try it and like
Yeah.
it, because when they do
They're
like
hooked.
it. Yeah.
They're just hooked.
There's nothing else like it on the market. The nice thing, if I can continue a little bit about the products, is that the garlic sauce is lactose, trans fat, gluten-free, and it's also vegan. So people will say, oh, it looks like dairy, or oh, I can't have this, or I can't have that. In the garlic sauce, it's lactose, trans fat, gluten, and vegan. The roasted red pepper is also lactose and trans fat free. And later this year, it will be gluten-free when one of the ingredients changes to a gluten-free product.
Oh my goodness. And that's exactly what I was going to ask you, because the garlic sauce is Joe's signature sauce,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And it has hardly any ingredients in it, and it's so tasty.
Right. No
Yeah.
cholesterol, no sugar.
Right.
4 simple ingredients: fresh lemon juice,
lemon
fresh
juice.
garlic, non-GMO canola oil, and salt.
Wow.
That's it.
And just a fabulous combination. It's going to be exciting to taste them on different things. And the Joe's Savory sauce, that has the mixture. What is different about that one? What's
That's
in
kind
that
of a
one?
fun product. Inside are roasted red peppers,
Okay.
walnuts, pomegranate molasses,
Oh, really?
right?
Fun.
A little bit of garlic, some lemon juice, and some other spices. Both of them are Mediterranean type condiments. And Joe learned to make both of these in the early 70s when he traveled to Lebanon and Syria, where he had friends and acquaintances, although he was not, his background is not from that part of the world.
Okay.
But he loved to cook, and he learned to cook from his grandmas and from his mom, and has written several cookbooks, and they're all ethnic. One of them is German, one of them is Croatian, and then his last cookbook was his favorite Middle Eastern recipes. Every recipe works. It's built for the family, and it's just fun to use.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you learn something new, this weekend I had a brunch. And so it was Sunday morning, but Saturday night I was like, bummer, what should I make? I have to make something. And I've been cooking my whole life because I've had a family. And first time I ever made baked French toast. It was fabulous. And so then it was like, start making some new things. Yeah. So that's why I'm excited, because this will be like a jump start to learn something new. So we've got both sauces here today.
Right.
And we've got some different ways that we're going to use them.
Right.
You're going to teach us that.
Yep.
We're going to join Jill back in the kitchen. So we're going to take a break, and you will see the both of us. Did you bring your apron?
I did.
Where you will see both of us back at the kitchen, and Alice will be in the apron.
Okay.
All right. Good
Sounds
job.
great. Thank you.
This will be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk about and show people how to use it.
Great. Yeah. Super.
CTV 101 allows you to discover the resources available to get involved at CTV North Suburbs and start making your own TV productions. This class is just over an hour in length and is an introduction to all aspects of CTV, including the studio, editing suites, live truck shoots, and field equipment. Classes are free of charge, so sign up today at ctvnorthsuburbs.org.
Welcome back. we're in the kitchen with Alice, and Jill's back with us, and Alice is going to show us now the two different sauces that we talked about on set, right?
Sure.
So we have the garlic sauce, and then we also have the savory sauce. And this one is the one that has the red color to it, right? Okay, so if you want to like step us through on how do you use them, what would be some ideas? So I have the garlic sauce at home, but I'm now prepared to open it because you're going to tell me how to use it.
Sure, I'd be happy
Super.
to. You know, when I do the demos, people say, well, what do I do with it? How do I use it?
Right.
And I tell them there's 100 different ways. But most often, you want something that you can get your hands on, you can use quickly, will taste good, will kind of spark up what you're having. So one of the simplest things that I do is that if I'm having either at home or company, if I make a vegetable cruet, I can, instead of using a sour cream dip or another type of a dip, just open up a container of the roasted red pepper or the garlic sauce
really?
and use that as a dip.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And so what's nice is, again, no cholesterol, no sugar, and again, no dairy. So sometimes you have guests with different dietary needs.
Right.
So you've got that. So that's the easiest. The second thing with the veggies, say if you're not into raw veggies, you can steam or cook any of these. Then take your favorite oil or butter, melt it a little bit, throw in some of the garlic sauce, pour it over.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And what's
That's
even
great.
better, as the sweet corn will start coming back this summer, is that melt a little butter, put some garlic sauce in there, put it on your sweet corn either before you roast it or after you boil it, before you eat it. It's great. So you can use that. Now you can also use the garlic sauce as a dip for shrimp or the roasted red pepper instead of the cocktail sauce.
Oh, good idea.
And
it's like just one serves all.
One serves all. You can also mix the two together and make your own cocktail sauce if that's what you'd like. The simplest, I've got some gluten-free pretzels because I usually demo with gluten-free products.
Good for you.
Use it as a dip for your chips, for your any type of pretzel or cracker. You can smear it on a cracker, put a little bit of cheese on it.
Can I try one?
You can. Take your baguette, smear it with either, put a little bit of cheese on it, put it in your toaster oven or your regular oven. And then you've got it, right.
Want one, Jill?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead. You've got to try it. You've got to try it.
Can I do it for you?
Uh-huh. That would be great.
And this is the roasted red pepper and walnut sauce.
Delicious, thank you.
So the other thing that you can do is you can make a pizza. And so I just put this together earlier, and I'm going to put one together in a moment here. I just put the garlic sauce on the bottom of the pizza. Then you can put your favorite cheese and your favorite toppings.
Oh, so the white sauce.
Yeah, I buy the pre-made ones, but I'm going to make it with the roasted red.
Okay.
Your own pizza, frozen pizza, pre-made, whatever you want to do.
Vegetables you have.
Right, vegetables you have. You can put your grilled leftover chicken, whatever it is that you like. Throw it in the oven at 400 for 10 minutes, and it's done. One of the best things that I like to do with the garlic sauce is to make it as a marinade. And on the side of our container, we give you a recipe for the marinade. And so you can marinate
Oh, really?
chicken, fish, poultry,
Wow.
just a variety of things. If you forget to marinate it, you can just brush it on as they're grilling or baking, or put it in a small little container, condiment container, serve it on the side when you're done.
Serve it up.
Right.
Well, and it's certainly, I mean, it's still February, but it seems like it's grilling weather.
Right. Or you can just bake your chicken, fish. One of the nice things I like to do with either of the sauces is to take like a piece of salmon,
Okay.
put either sauce on the top and then bake it, or the last 5 minutes, put either of the sauce on so it gets the last 5 minutes. You can mix either of the sauces in your ground beef, your ground lamb if you're
really?
making
So
burgers.
That would be,
Right.
that'd be so
and then
good.
then you don't have to add additional salt and
Yeah.
pepper.
Can be your own like secret savory
little kick.
hamburger
Right.
that everybody, oh, these are so tasty. How do you make them?
Right. Or
Not
take your
telling
burger
them.
off the grill and just dollop it with the garlic sauce before it's done. Another favorite of mine is I rarely use mayo and mustard anymore. So on any sandwich, whether it's like a meat sandwich or a cheese sandwich or your egg sandwich in the morning, just put a smear of the garlic or the roasted red pepper on it instead of that.
So, question on that same sandwich thing is that could you put it on the outside of the bread if you were making a grilled cheese?
Yes, for the grilled cheese, it makes a great grilled cheese with the garlic sauce. Put it on the inside and the outside. And then put your favorite cheese on the inside.
I'm gonna try that.
It is amazing. A favorite breakfast of mine is whatever your favorite toast is. Maybe it's an English muffin, maybe it's a bagel. Toast it, put a smear of the garlic sauce on, sliced avocado, sliced tomato, salt and pepper.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
You'll share it with no one. That's what I tell people
Right,
when I do
right.
demos.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Right. So when you're going to make your pizza, it's very simple. Okay. You take the sauce as much as you like, spread it around, and I leave it just a smidgen away from the edge. I sometimes make half roasted red pepper and half garlic.
Oh,
So you can do
variety
that as
pack.
well. And, you know, it's kind of fun if you have kids around or if people like to build their own pizza.
Right.
They can make it however they want.
Yeah.
So this is a pre-made crust. It couldn't be simpler. You
Right.
Put the sauce on. And then if you want to put a little bit of cheese on it, you can put some cheese. If you've got leftover chicken, if you've got some mushrooms, veggies, whatever it may
Right.
be. And again, this is just the 4 grated pizza cheese.
Right.
And then I just got a couple pieces of pepperoni and put it on there.
You know, when I was in Italy a few years ago, probably more than a few now, but anyway, my sister and I, and we were so excited. We ordered let's have a pepperoni pizza. So the pizza came, and then there was one piece of salami in the middle, which was pepperoni to them, but to me it was salami. And it's like, where's the meat?
That's
You know
right.
what? It
Well,
was
here, see, you
fabulous.
can add this.
Now I could add
Yeah.
as much as I want.
And again, this just goes on, you can put it on a sheet of foil
Yeah.
in the oven for 400 for 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, do you like to put it on foil?
In the oven, so then,
Yeah.
Or put it on the rack
Right.
and then put foil underneath in case you
Okay.
don't want to dirty your oven.
Have you made the pizzas with the tortilla shells?
Yes, I have,
On
and
the
also
ho-
with
on
the
the-
naan bread
Oh.
also.
Yeah.
And that's really good.
Is that good?
And one of my favorite things, and it's just such an easy appetizer, is to get the baguette and to
Okay.
put either one on there. And then I just take my favorite cheese, sprinkle it on there, put it in the broiler for 3 minutes, and it's done. And people absolutely love it. So
I'm thinking baked potato would be
it's wonderful.
delicious
Baked
with the
potato,
garlic.
your
Yeah,
mashed
try that one.
potatoes.
Yum.
Make your
Oh,
mashed
yeah.
potatoes the way you do, and then just
What
add
an easy thing with Easter coming up.
right about
delicious.
Oh, I would say
That's so
2 to
good.
3 tablespoons per cup. If somebody doesn't like the garlic sauce, you leave that out.
It's heavenly.
Yeah, thank you.
So good.
There's just 100 different ways to use it. Our website is www.joessauces.com.
Right.
And you can order online if you want to send it to someone that doesn't live in the 7 in the metro
Oh, yeah.
area. And it also shows some pictures of Joe cooking,
Oh,
some of our
neat.
family, and then different recipes, and then where all of our demos are. So closest to this area is the Lunds and Byerly's here in Roseville, the Brooklyn Park Hy-Vee, the
And they're-
Oakdale
and they're-
Hy-Vee as well
Right.
has.
And there's a Hy-Vee going in on 96.
Well, and we hope that will carry our product down the road.
Yeah. That would be
Or
close
there's
for us,
if
too.
you work downtown Minneapolis, the Wedge, the different co-ops, Seward
really?
Co-op, Kowalski's, Jerry's in Woodbury. If you have friends in that part of it, part of the town, yeah.
Well, I love it. I love all the ideas you've opened up. So now my mind, so when I go home, I will open up my garlic sauce and I'll use it.
There you go. There you go. It's a great TV muncher instead of ice cream.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, so great. So great. Well, thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you. It's great to be
And
here.
Thank you for coming on the
pleasure.
show. Thank you for watching today's show. We hope you learned a lot about the glass fusion, maybe some travel tips, and the Joe's sauces. So again, thank you to my guests. And then a special thanks to the people behind the scenes, which are the crew here at CTV North Suburbs, includes staff and volunteers. If you would like to produce a show or volunteer at CTV, please visit the website, ctvnorthsuburbs.org. See you next time.